Welcome to A Night In with CASA, everybody. Happy Friday night. My name is Patty. I'm here to lift your spirits a little bit, so help me out. What I want, you got, and it might be hard to handle. Like a flame that burns a candle. The candle feeds the flame. What I got, full stock of thoughts and dreams that scatter. You pull them all together, and how I can't explain it. Oh yeah, well, 'cause you make my dreams come true. All you do, well, you make my dreams come true. We're just getting started. On a night when bad dreams become a screamer, when they're messing with the dreamer, I can laugh them in the face. Twist and shout my way out and wrap yourself around me, 'cause I ain't the way you found me, and I'll never be the same. Oh yeah, well, 'cause you make my dreams come true. All you do, well, you make my dreams come true. Oh, I'm not done, 'cause listen to this. Ow! Down in my daydream, oh, that sleepwalk should be over by now. Oh no. Girl, yeah, you make my dreams come true. All you do, I've been waiting for you, girl. Oh my, you make my dreams come true. Alright, I've been waiting for you, girl. Oh my, you make my dreams come true. Oh, I've been waiting for, yeah. I've been waiting for you, girl. You make my dreams come true. Oh, you do. You make my dreams come true. Oh, here we go. Woo! And now, your host, Reggie Rivers.
Oh, Patty on piano, man. You're killing it, dude. Woo! Yes. Love it. Thank you so much, Patty. We appreciate you. Thank you for kicking this event off on the right note. Patty will be back with us a little bit later on to play a few more songs. Welcome, everybody. This is A Night In with CASA, and we're so glad that you have joined us this evening. We're going to have a great time tonight. Social distancing might stop us from giving handshakes and hugs and pats on the back, but it's not going to stop us from showing love and support for Passaic County CASA and the children in foster care that this organization supports. Now, we hope that you are feeling warm and comfortable in your own homes, and we appreciate that you've made an appointment to be with us tonight. I'm Reggie Rivers. I'm your host for tonight. Most of you don't know me. I'm a former Denver Bronco. I am now in my Club 38 man cave. You can see the words Club 38 behind me. I played for the Denver Broncos back in the 1990s. This is my garage. My wife describes this garage as the most expensive boondoggle she's ever been forced to help finance. I just call it my happy place. So listen, I am aware that right now I am deep in Jets and Giants and Patriots territory. I know that I am an unwelcome interloper being a former Denver Bronco, but please know that I come in peace. And as a peace offering, I want to remind all you Jets fans that back in 2010, we sent you Tim Tebow. You're welcome. And a little while after that, we took the butt fumbler himself, Mark Sanchez, off your hands. He didn't have any more butt fumbles with you. We took him in Denver. You're welcome. And if any of you, the Giants fans are out there, we love Peyton Manning here in Denver. So, of course, we have a lot of affection for little brother Eli. And if there are any Patriots fans out there, I just want to let you know, I have no love for you. I don't like you. You guys win too much. But listen, if you get confused about any of the words that we use tonight, if you're a Patriots fan and anything confuses you, you can ask a Jets fan, you could ask a Giants fan, or you could ask any average 10-year-old to explain it to you. And I don't mean to denigrate the Patriots or their fans, but if you are a Patriots fan, denigrate means to put down. All right. We are so happy that you are here to celebrate CASA and its volunteer advocates with us who provide compassionate support for kids who are in foster care. While we all sit safe and warm and comfortable in our own homes tonight, we have to remember that there are more than 350 kids who are in the foster care system in Passaic County every year. Many of them are not feeling cozy at home. They're staying with a foster family. No matter how nice that foster family is, these kids are aware that they are guests in somebody else's home. Think about the food that you're eating tonight. Think about the sounds and the smells and the atmosphere in your own home, all the things that make it your home. And now imagine a place where suddenly none of those things is familiar to you, that you're nervous about opening the refrigerator. You're nervous about asking for a toothbrush. You're nervous about eating a plate of food that you've never tried before and you're not sure you're going to like. This is the experience that kids in foster care have. No matter how well-intentioned their foster parents are, these kids don't have that feeling of being safe and cozy at home the way that we all do tonight. So our goal is to help these kids find their way to a safe, comfortable, permanent home where they can feel as cozy as we all feel tonight. We want to achieve two main things tonight. One, we want to connect with you. Because of COVID, we can't get together in person, not physically, but we can be together emotionally, spiritually, compassionately, and empathetically on behalf of these kids. Our second goal tonight is to raise money for Passaic County CASA. We can't do this work without you. We appreciate all of you being here. We're going to call you into action. We hope that you will answer that call and help us support the kids that CASA supports. Before we go any further in our program, I want to give a couple of housekeeping notes for you. You are watching this on YouTube or Facebook right now. If you have any problems on Facebook, just go over to YouTube. If you have any problems on YouTube, just go over to Facebook. If you're a Patriots fan, ask someone to explain what it is I'm saying here. You can find the links to the CASA Facebook page or the CASA YouTube page on their website, PassaiCCountyCASA.org/events. If you have any technical problems or you have questions, the CASA team is standing by. They're in the office. The phone number is 973-832-4002, or you can just send a comment. Just type in a comment on YouTube or Facebook and let us know if you're having any kind of trouble. All right, now here's a news flash. We have a basket auction that is going on right now. We've got wine, champagne, coffee, chocolates, all the things you need for a night in at home. And you can bid on those items in our basket auction. The basket auction will close at midnight Eastern time on Sunday, so get your bids in. Now, as we said earlier, we need your support tonight. Kids in foster care are counting on Passaic County CASA, and Passaic County CASA is counting on all of you. Here's an easy way for you to make a contribution tonight. You just take out your cell phone, and I want to remind you, we recommend that you watch this program on your laptop or desktop, and you do your donating on your cell phone. So take out your cell phone, text the word COZY to the number 243-725. You'll receive a text message back with a link. You click that link and follow the prompts, then text COZY to 243-725. It is super easy. Now, some of you have received gift bags at your home. Thank you to all of our VIPs who made a special donation. And inside, you're going to find there's, like, for example, there's this program that came in your packet. There's a bunch of things in here, including some recipes. There's page 17, a Patriots fan submitted a recipe. It's for toast. And it just says, take one slice of bread and 8 hours of sunlight. That's how they make toast. It's ridiculous. But there are socks. You get some cool socks in your bag. This is I don't know what this is. I think it's a pen holder for your desk. And inside of it, look at that. Hot chocolate bombs. Woo! I'm gonna eat those, set those away from the family. And this Looks like a hemorrhoid ring, or I guess you could put it around your neck. But yeah, so this bag, ADP, one of our sponsors. Thank you so much, ADP, for providing that. And there's this nice warm blanket in here. So a lot of cool stuff in your goodie bag. And if you receive those, please let us know in the chat what your favorite part is, or your favorite element, or which element in this package will you think would most confuse a Patriots fan. All right, so let's continue on here. We want to say thank you to our sponsors. Our champion sponsor is Stroh Properties, located in Ridgewood, New Jersey, a constant champion for the work of CASA advocates. In addition to their financial support, they also are Passaic County CASA's landlord, and they have generously provided a deeply discounted rent. So thank you, Stroh Properties, for your continued commitment, support, and leadership for kids in foster care in Passaic County. Our presenting sponsor is ADP Associates. This is a global company with a true commitment to supporting the communities in which their employees live and work. Later in the program, we will hear from Deanne Green, who's their VP of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. She's going to share some insights about ADP's commitment to their community. Thank you, ADP Associates, for your commitment and support. Now, no matter what your connection to CASA or your reason for joining us tonight, we can all agree that children in the foster care system deserve to know that there is a consistent, caring adult who is looking out for their best interests. And so we'd like to show you this video to let you see firsthand what this work is all about.
I'm 4 years old. I am 5 years old. I don't live at home because I wasn't safe. It was hard being away from my sister. I feel sad. I want to be safe.
When a child enters the foster care system, it's one of the most traumatic moments of their life, typically. The people that they meet when they first enter the system are often not the people who stay with them along the entire way. And sometimes their CASA is, really just that one constant, the one person who is the same from the very beginning of the case all the way through. CASA is a court-appointed special advocate, and CASA volunteers are community volunteers who come forward. They complete a detailed intensive training to really represent that child's best interests, not only in court, but also in the community, in the child welfare system as a whole, in the school systems.
I wanted to become a CASA advocate because I really felt a yearning to work with children. It was a very emotional experience when the judge swore us all in. He basically said he was counting on us to represent the children's best interest, and that he counted on CASA's opinions very highly and really wanted to make sure that the CASAs represented the voices of children in the courtroom.
The child welfare system, because it's so large, is also somewhat strained. CASA advocates fill a vital role in that we fill in the blank spaces. When a CASA advocate is appointed, children know and understand that they have someone who's exclusively in their corner.
My first case were 2 sisters, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, who were neglected because their mother was homeless and suffering from untreated mental illness and substance abuse. Over the course of the year, the girls became familiar with me. They knew that they could count on me to play with them when I came to visit, to interact with them. They began to trust me, and the grandmothers began to trust me.
We know when we have a CASA involved in a child's life that they are more likely to have the more appropriate services accessible for them. Children academically, educationally, have a higher level of high school graduation when they have an advocate appointed to them. And our children are able to reunify at a faster rate. If reunification is not an option, they have a higher rate of adoption rather than languishing in the foster care system.
In the case of the 2 sisters, they wound up being placed with their grandmothers. Whenever a case comes to an end, it is bittersweet for me, because while it's great that the case is ending because a permanency decision has been reached, what that means is that our role as CASAs is ending, at least officially.
Donna was able to build a wonderful, consistent relationship with everyone involved, And because of that, it really just made everything, so consistent for the children, but, it was able to wrap up in such a positive way for the kids. We have these volunteers and these advocates who are giving up themselves in a way that, people just don't do every day. But when I see people do it and I see them carried out, it is just the absolute most rewarding and humbling experience for me to be able to see the outcome for our kids.
I like when my CASAs visit me. I love her. I love seeing my CASA. My CASA is always there for me. Thank you, CASA. Thank you, CASA.
Wow. Well, that just goes to show you that these CASA volunteers are everyday heroes. I mean, the work that they do is so transformative and important in these kids' lives. I want to say thank you to Donna Ward for sharing your story and the stories of the children that you've worked with. The way that video started out with that 4 and 5-year-old kid, both explaining why they don't live at home or why they live where they live now. And I think about most of our kids. Can you imagine your kid? Somebody asked your kid, "Hey, why do you live here?" Your kid is like, "Because this is my family. This is where I live." They have no conception of why they live someplace, but these kids have been disrupted to the point that they're aware of why they live here or why they don't live someplace else. And they rely so much on their CASA advocates. If throughout this program, if you get inspired and you want to become a CASA, you can learn more about it by visiting the Passaic County CASA website and learn what's required to become a CASA. You can become one of these everyday heroes as well. And, so videos like this are inspiring, and we hope that you will be inspired by them. And I want to introduce 2 inspiring young women here who are very familiar to many of you. Erica Fisher-Caslander is the executive director of CASA. She is actually the founding executive director when Passaic County CASA started 14 years ago. Welcome, Erica. Oh, and you're muted still, Erica. You might need to unmute yourself. And while you're doing that, I'm going to introduce the young lady sitting right next to you, Gina Setta, who's Passaic County CASA program director. She's been with the organization for 12 years. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you, Reggie. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So the two of you, 12 years and 14 years, that's a combined 26 years with this organization. I mean, you guys know everything that's happened there.
Yeah, just about. We try not to think about it or we might go crazy, but yeah.
Lots of fond memories.
Yeah, definitely.
That's wonderful.
It's a labor of love.
Well, our theme tonight is about spending a night in at home, and the two of you are spending the evening in your second home, which is the Passaic County CASA offices, and we appreciate all that you do. Now, before we get into the conversation with you, I want to invite everyone in the audience to get involved, because individually, any one of us can only do so much, but together as a team, we could really make a big impact on Passaic County CASA and the children that they support. And so we're going to ask you to, if you haven't done so already, text COZY to the number 243-725. We're going to ask for support this evening, and we're going to start off with high numbers that we're asking for, and we're going to work our way down. And we hope that each of you, when you hear a number that matches your means and matches your commitment to this organization, will make a contribution, at least one gift tonight during this virtual paddle raiser. And as a reminder, super easy to give. Text the word COZY to the number 243-725. You'll instantly receive a link. You click that link and you can make a contribution. And to get us started, we have an exciting announcement. We have a $20,000 matching gift from Craig and Angela Goldman. Yes, thank you, Pamela and Craig. We appreciate your unwavering commitment to children in the child welfare system. We appreciate you. So they've offered a $20,000 matching gift. And that's not all. We also have a $10,000 matching gift from James Veal. Thank you, James. We appreciate you for recognizing the tremendous need for advocacy in the foster care system. So Craig and Angela, James Veal, the three of them combined are putting up a $30,000 matching gift. And so we thank you guys so much. We appreciate that generosity. And now the challenge is on for the rest of us. We need to match that money and more. We're going to see how high we can get in our fundraising. And we're going to start off by asking for gifts of $10,000. If you have the capacity to make a $10,000 gift, we're asking you to do that now. And if you're sitting at home thinking, you know what, if Passaic County CASA really needed me, like if they really, really needed me, then they asked me, I would make that gift. Well, consider yourself asked. They really need your support.
Please.
And so please, thank you, Craig, again. We appreciate all that you do. And so while they're donating, I want to have a conversation here with Erica and Gina about the work that CASA does. And so, Erica, in this video, we heard the term best interest of the child a lot. And I think we all kind of intuitively know what that means. But when you're talking about the foster care system, the court system, and all the adults that are attached to these children, what does the best interest of the child mean in this context?
You're right, Reggie. It's a term that I think a lot of us throw around often, even in everyday life, but especially in child welfare. But really, when it comes down to it, in advocacy and here in the CASA world, best interest really means that the advocate is there just for that child. They're responsible to go out and find all of the facts that are going on in that child's life. So they will speak to everybody involved. They will read all of the reports that are involved in that child's life, from educational to medical to legal, and make sure that the judge who's making decisions for that child has the most up-to-date, the most accurate information to make decisions for that child's life. And they don't have a stake in the game. That advocate is there for nobody except that child. You know, all the other parties involved have their own agenda. They have, you know, some slant, but that advocate has nobody's interest other than that child. So it really is, you know, their best interest is nobody's interest but that child.
And their objective in their advocacy. You know, they just want what's best for the child. You know, they hear from everybody involved, but they remain objective to make the best recommendations for that child.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier said than done sometimes, but it is simple at its heart.
Right. Well, that's wonderful. And I know that, you know, my wife and I, we are adoptive parents. Our son, Malik, who's 17 and a half, almost 18 years old now, we took custody of him when he was 3 and adopted him when he was 5. And it was a family adoption. He's our nephew, but we were assigned a guardian ad litem, or Malik was assigned a guardian ad litem, which is the Colorado version of a CASA. Yep. And we had never known that role. We didn't know what it was, didn't know what it was all about. But from the first day that we met this guardian ad litem, we understood when he explained his role, because we felt that we had the best interest of Malik in mind, but we also felt that Malik would be best served by being with us. And so we immediately, as soon as he explained it to us, we understood that, yeah, the minute Malik's best interest doesn't align with being with us, we're suddenly not going to be advocating for Malik's best interest. And so he needed someone independent and objective who would be looking out for his best interest. And we appreciated that because we knew there were a lot of interested parties. And we felt that, yeah, it's a blessing that he had an advocate. And I want to apologize. I think I might have said Craig and Angela Goldman instead of Craig and Pamela Goldman for that $20,000 matching gift. So I apologize if I got that name wrong. But I want to invite people to make contributions. We're going to step down one level to $5,000. And Craig Goldman has made another contribution to kick this thing off. He's now donating $5,000 as well. If you have not done so,
thank you.
Text COZY to 243-725. Gina, I want to ask you, why do you do this work? Why is this so important to you?
Well, Reggie, I've always had a heart for service and service to children in particular. Before CASA, I worked as a child abuse prosecutor for several years. When I decided to make a change, I am so grateful that I found Erica and CASA, because I really, truly believe in the mission of CASA to advocate for a child's best interest and for a child to have a safe and permanent home. It's been wonderful working with all the volunteers throughout the years. In this past year, we've had over 150 volunteers advocating for children in the Passaic County foster care system. You know, they're dedicated. They are doing intensive training. They're giving, you know, donating their time, some 10, 15, 20 hours a month to be an advocate for these kids. You know, I could tell you wonderful things that all 150 CASAs have done every day, but we don't have time for that right now. So I'm just going to focus on one particular advocate, Rich, who I have had the pleasure of working with for several years. Rich became a CASA in 2012, and he's advocated for several youth throughout that time. In 2014, Rich was appointed to the case of 14-year-old Isaiah. Now, a lot of people might have a vision of what a child in foster care looks like. And
Isaiah was not that typical.
Correct. Yes. I mean, he was doing well in school. He was, very friendly and conversive. Sometimes teenagers are not friendly and conversive. But there's no one picture of what a child in foster care looks like. And sometimes people are surprised to hear that we advocate for so many teenagers, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. They're not heading towards the adoption path or being reunified with their parents, but they need to be prepared to age out of the foster care system when they turn 21. So anyway, back to Rich and Isaiah. He was 14 when Rich was appointed to him. And Rich, we tell our advocates that being a consistent presence in a child's life is what's most important. And when I think of consistency, I think of Rich. Yeah. He was on this case for over 6 years. I don't believe he ever missed a visit with Isaiah. He advocated for Isaiah to have funds to go on school-sponsored trips. He advocated for funds for Isaiah to have SAT prep classes.
Get his driver's license.
Driver's lessons. When Isaiah was looking at colleges, Rich spent hours researching the different programs that Isaiah was interested in to present him options and say, well, this school has this and this school has this. And then Rich sat down with Isaiah and worked through the financial aid process, which everybody knows is quite the process. So he was really a consistent, dedicated advocate to Isaiah. Several months ago, the case closed. He aged out at 21. Isaiah told the judge that he was thankful for everybody in his case and specifically mentioned his CASA Rich.
And they'll always be together. I think they'll always have that bond because it's not something you can disappear after all those years.
Absolutely.
That is wonderful. It is amazing. And when we think about teenagers, I have a teenager now, and when he was 11 or 12, some of my friends were saying, "Oh yeah, that your kid's going to turn into a jerk here just shortly." And I'm like, "What? This little angel? Not this one, not this little angel." But of course, right? He's a teenager, so he does the things that teenagers do. And what we can see in him is that he has the absolute certainty from us that he knows that we love him. He knows that there's nothing he can do that's going to make us turn our backs on him. And that you place that you place teenagers. We don't think of them typically as the foster kids, but they need families. They need people who are going to be in their corner to help them make this transition into adulthood. And over the long term, who are they going to Thanksgiving with and Christmas with?
Exactly. It's a lifelong relationship for our teens that age out. Absolutely.
Really is. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please make your contributions. We have many contributions that are coming in. We're going to recognize them as we go down. We're at $2,500. We're going to ask for $2,500 and $1,000 contributions right now. At $1,000, we want to say thank you to Janet Lee Saunders. We appreciate that. Want to say thank you to John Castlander. Maybe he's related to somebody here with a $700 donation. Thank you very much, John. We appreciate that. And Erica, I know that COVID-19 has been a huge disruption for everybody. How has that changed the role that CASA advocates play?
Reggie, I think obviously we all know it's been a huge disruption to everybody's life, and everything we know is different. I mean, nothing looks the same anymore. But it's really amazed me over the last year. Next week will be exactly a week since any of our staff or advocates have stepped foot physically into a courtroom. A year. Yes. Yeah. Did I say a year?
Next week will be a year.
Yeah, okay. Yes. See, it's been a year and I can't even talk straight. But nothing has changed at all in terms of our advocacy. Our volunteers, if anything, they have increased the amount of advocacy they're doing. Absolutely. By tenfold. I would say they've taken all the training that they had to begin with, and training we've done, since then on top of it, and just put it into practice when, the challenge came of making sure that our children were connected to virtual school and helping resource parents and bio parents get connected to unemployment paperwork and other forms of, subsidies and food insecurity supports. they had all the right skills to connect to those resources and advocate for the right supports, and they put them into practice. And I've never been so proud of, all the advocates, every single one of them, because they knew what to do and they jumped into action and never even hesitated.
And I think education is where our advocates really stepped up and did more than they've ever done before.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Going to the physical schools and picking up laptops for the kids or paper packets, talking to teachers and counselors to make sure that the kids are actually logging into virtual school.
Yeah. Teaching some of the foster parents who may not be used to using technology. Tutoring.
Yeah.
Teaching them how to do the tutoring, how to log on to Zoom, how to use Google Classroom. We had to learn ourselves how to use Google Classroom, but everybody just jumped right into it without hesitation. So it's been a hard year, but one I'm really proud of, seeing the results from what our kids have benefited having the advocates. I can't imagine what their lives would look like without advocates. And that's right. I think that's why tonight is so important, because we know every day we're seeing new kids come into foster care, and we need to make sure that we're able to continue assigning new volunteer advocates to those children every single day without having a wait list. So we need the support, please.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we have Peter Lefkowitz at $1,000. Thank you so much, Peter. We appreciate your generous support. And let's take a look at our fundraising total so far. We are working our way toward this $30,000 goal to match. So $20,750, and we have a few people here at $500. We have the Pequannock Rotary donated $500. Wow. John Como at $500. Kenneth Bogert, $500. Thank you. The Aber family at $500, and Lindsay Janel at $500. Thank you so much for your generous support. Please keep those gifts coming. Pamela and Craig Goldman and James Veal have combined to donate $30,000 of matching dollars. And so we are less than $10,000 away from hitting that match. So please keep those donations coming. And while you're making your contributions, we want to share a video with you about, so you can understand that advocating for a child, for a family, and for a home is something that's hard to quantify, but you can learn about the strength and dedication and love that a CASA volunteer named Sharon had that impacted a special young man named Carter.
Carter came to CASA after the world as he knew it had been turned upside down.
When I was pretty much taken away and brought here, I remember that this woman, she said that I had to go with her for like safety reasons.
He was a child that was left alone so much that he had to fend for himself all the time.
Take your time.
6 years ago, Carter was my first case. I met him at the pool, and he was open and very warm, very inviting, and very interactive. Each month, we would have a conversation. We play games.
Like, she would ask me how my day was. She would open up and ask questions about, like, what happened back in Patterson, since that's where I lived before.
Sharon knew, that she had to get to know everything that she could about this case. She visited Carter's foster home. She visited in school. She got to know his teacher. She went to his games, basketball games, football games. She was there to listen. She was there to understand what he was going through, and to make sure that she was able to represent his best interests at all times. She stood up for Carter.
Well, since the courtroom is terrifying in my part, she told me, like, you got this. I know you can do this. And yeah, she would just try to do whatever she could in order for me to be happy and confident.
If Sharon wasn't our CASA worker from the get-go, I don't think we might be in the situation where I was adopting him.
I was able to adopt Carter on March 20th, 2017.
Carter's adoption day was incredibly emotional. It was a celebration and a reminder of the power of volunteers like Sharon to make a difference in a child's life.
This is the card he gave me. And it says, You are the best CASA worker ever, and I really appreciate you. Love, Carter.
Sharon, you have been such a wonderful person that came into our lives, and I can't thank you enough.
She was almost like a therapist, but like 3 times better. I feel happy as can be because now I'm not left home alone. I have everything I ever wanted, really.
What an amazing story. I mean, Sharon is like an angel that dropped out of the sky, except that she's not. She's a human being. She's a person like all of you sitting home watching, and she's become this everyday hero. And Carter, man, this kid is so capable of explaining what he's thinking and what his situation is.
He's an amazing, amazing little boy.
It is amazing. And at the end of that video, when he says, I have everything I ever wanted, he's not talking about a video game. He's not talking about money. He's talking about security. He's talking about love. He's talking about compassion. He's talking about empathy. He's talking about support. He's talking about he has a family. He has a home. And it is just, that is so powerful.
Absolutely. Yep. That's what a CASA volunteer is. You know, that's the heart of it. They're that consistent presence who can do exactly what Sharon did for every single child in foster care, and they can bring that positive, permanent presence to the life of a child.
Okay, we have Janice Erzmanate donated $2,500. Thank you so much, Janice. Let's take another look at our fundraising total and see where we are. We are getting closer to that goal, $22,750. And let me let you know, we have another $1,000 donor. Actually, Peter Lefkowitz at $1,000. I might have said his name. I can't remember. But Greg Amato and Donna Ward. We saw Donna's video just a little while ago. Thank you so much for your gift of $1,000.
Thank you very much.
We called out some names at $500, and we also have some $250 gifts. We have Mark Rosen, Marion Brady, and Marion is a 10 years plus advocate. It's actually a $325 donation. Thank you. Pamela Dunn, Randy London, who is also an advocate, a CASA advocate. Leslie Pepperone made a $150 donation. We appreciate that. So wonderful. Keep those donations coming in. And thank you again, Janice Erzmanet. That $2,500 donation is very kind. We appreciate that. Erica, the story of what's happening with CASA.
What do you want to know about it, Reggie?
Well, you know, maybe we should move on. Maybe we're moving on to the next point. All right. So, but we want your support. If you haven't yet done so, you can text the word cozy to the number 243-725. Text the word cozy to 243-725. And what I want to ask you about, Erica, is the generous matching gift. I mean, the $30,000 match from Craig and Pamela Goldman and from James Veal. What does it mean to you that you have supporters who will commit to you that way?
You know, both the Veal families and the Goldman families have been consistent, longtime supporters of the CASA program. But personally, to Gina and I both, and I put words in her mouth all the time, so I know I can do this. But it's amazing to have donors, both as individuals and our corporate donors, that are willing to stand up for our children. You know, we're here as the face of the organization tonight, but we're not the organization by any means. The organization, you know, is our 150 volunteers that are out there every day doing the work. And really they're there for the children. They're there representing children. So for the Goldmans and the Veals to stand up and make this kind of commitment to match, you know, donations coming in, that means that we can serve every child coming into foster care this year. And that's the commitment that Janet and I made when we, you know, put our own personal energy and effort into this organization 14 and 12 years ago. We wanted to get to a point that we could say every child had the benefit of an advocate. And now we're able to do that because of, the support of the Goldmans and the Fields and all of our donors every day. So for me, it's just amazing to know that there's so many people that are able to support us and support our kids.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. And so we, the Goldmans and the Veals, we greatly appreciate their commitment. And the rest of us, we might not have the firepower to make a $10,000 or a $20,000 gift, but now we're in the territory where we can all get involved, and we hope that you all will. If you have not yet made a contribution, we ask you to do that now. Text the word COZY to 243-725 and donate whatever it is you can. If you've already made a donation tonight, we thank you for your support, and we encourage you, make one more at $100. Let me tell you some of the gifts we have at $100. Julie Ritzema, thank you so much. Carol Brudner, Michael Desio, Matt Galgano, James Salerno, Kelly Doyle Gambuza, Kenneth Morris, Tanis Hardware, thank you, Caleb Carper, Serena Derzawick, I hope I said that correctly, Serena. Teresa Waters, who is a longtime advocate, thank you for your gift of $25. Aubrey Ann Jones, Francine Yablonsky gave $200. Thank you. We have Jen Jacqueline at $125. Gregory Mann, Marie Brill with a $75 donation. Thank you. Christian Sees, Fred Ritzema, Mary Maluso, Anna Swaranska. Hope I said that right.
Anna's another volunteer.
Oh, she is another volunteer.
Yeah. Look, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Yes, look at that. We are on the cusp of our $30,000 goal. We need $150 now. We're at $29,850. We're only $150 away, and we will earn that match, and we will watch this number grow together. We need another $150. I want to say thank you to the law offices of Kelly Burton Rocco, who made a $2,500 gift to get us help get us this close. Please keep those gifts coming in. At $1,000, we had Susan White and Sharon Brown, both with $1,000 contributions. We appreciate you. We just need 100. Oh, we need $100 right now.
Oh,
there we are.
I have chills. Hey, thank you, everybody. Yay.
Yes. So when we add in the $30,000 of the match, that is going to put us at $60,050. Thank you, everybody.
Everybody's dancing in the office behind us. You can't see them, though.
Thank you, everybody, for pitching in to make that happen. Thank you so much to the Goldman and Veal families for that generous match. And so the next time we come back to look at this number, we will have added that match in there, and we'll be at $60,000. I want to just recognize a few more people that we haven't called out yet. Ann Sundis at $500. Thank you very much. Diane Kelly, who's been an advocate for 3 years, at $500. Thank you. Mike Mahoney at $500. We appreciate your commitment and support. All right. So as promised earlier, we have a special message from our presenting sponsor, ADP. And this is Deanne Green, who's the VP of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at ADP.
ADP is proud to partner with and to support Passaic County CASA, especially during these unprecedented times of a pandemic, lockdowns, job losses, and food insecurities, and numerous other challenges. With all that's going on, our children in foster care cannot be forgotten or left to fend for themselves. I mean, as if pre-COVID-19 times weren't difficult enough, just imagine layering on the challenges I just mentioned to children and families already at risk. The problems magnify to inconceivable levels. For example, court proceedings stalled during the pandemic, but CASA expanded its reach to provide additional support and services to people in need. Join us in helping to make a difference and in changing the course of a child's life by donating to this worthy cause. Please make us your charity of choice. Our children need us.
Thank you, Deanne. We appreciate that. And now I want to welcome Passaic County CASA Board President, Eileen Martinez-Carper. How are you, Eileen?
Hi, Reggie. I'm well. How are you?
Good. Well, you have been with CASA for a while now. What does this generosity night mean to you?
Well, I got to tell you, it means the world to me to see this level of support. Our children in foster care really needed this community to step up, and they really did in a big way tonight. So this is a game changer for our children. All I can say is thank you to all of our donors for your generosity. You are really helping to change a child's story.
That is wonderful. And why did you get involved with CASA?
Well, my connection with CASA started about 7 years ago with a cold call to Erica. I was working on a project and I wanted to connect with Erica to help with communications efforts there at CASA. And, you know, once I learned about just the depth of the need, I couldn't look away. Then about 3 years ago, I joined the board, and I'm just really honored to be a part of this amazing mission with a phenomenal team of staff and volunteers who are so dedicated. It's incredible the work they do.
That is amazing. It is incredible work, and we appreciate your leadership and commitment to the organization. Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you.
And we're going to go back to Patty in just a moment, but I'm reading here that Craig Goldman just donated another $10,000. Is that right? And so when you add on the match and then this additional $10,000, we're now at $71,625 raised. Thank you so much, Craig and Pamela. We appreciate your continued generosity and leadership. And to celebrate this, let's welcome back Patty on the piano.
Thank you, Reggie. This is a song that's been on my mind. It feels topical. I'm sure you'll agree. Help me out. Here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. But here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. But here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. But here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Thank you. Back to you, Reggie and Erica.
Oh, thank you, Patty. That was wonderful. Here comes the sun, and that is right. And listen, we've got a little exciting piece of news here. So Craig Goldman, he donated another $10,000, but then he called in and he said, you know what? He really wants that $10,000 to be a match. And so let's look at our fundraising total again. If you think about where we were at 30,000. We matched that and then got to 60. Then he's put in another 10,000. That puts to 70. So there's been another $2,000 worth of gifts. Can we raise another $8,000 so that we match this $10,000 gift from Craig Goldman? And we do have a few gifts that have come in, at $500, LN. Thank you very much. $500, Sharon Brown. We have an anonymous donation of $300. Thank you for that. So please, we are now in the chase for $80,000 to see if we can, the rest of us can pull together and make a contribution to get us up to that $80,000 number. A few other people down at the $250 level. We have Martin Golan, we have Donna and Norman Klein, Trisha Schreiber, Cecilia Henderson, Rosemary Pino, Brian and Melissa Aber. Those are all gifts at $250.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I'm sitting here like getting the information from you, Reggie. So yeah.
That is so
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Craig and Pam are really good at keeping us on our toes in a really positive way.
Yeah, that is very positive. And so, if you still have it in you, if you've already made a gift and you have the capacity to make another one, we would love it if you would help us get to $80,000. And I know that's a big number, but we're $8,000 away from $80,000. And thank you so much to Craig and Pamela for putting this additional opportunity in front of us. And so we're going to continue forward, but please keep making your donations and we will check back on this number in just a little bit. And I know, Erica, you wanted to say a word about our sponsors.
I just wanted to say thank you, Reggie. It's this additional match has caught me off guard, but all of our sponsors, all year long, but particularly for this event, this year is such a obviously unique event. We've never done a virtual fundraiser. So when we set up to do it, we didn't know what to expect. So special thank you to, ADP, to the stroke companies for coming forward and, believing in this event and believing in us as an organization. Special thank you to Donna Ward and Ed Maribel for putting themselves out there for the recording of the video that we saw first this evening. And then, of course, for the Jones family sharing their story, and Sharon Brown for her piece of making that happen as well. But every single donor that has come forward tonight to help us get to our first match and then hopefully to this second additional opportunity, and all year long, every donor that contributes, financially and in kind, we couldn't do it without them.
And we also want to thank all our amazing volunteers, many of whom are watching tonight. I've heard a lot of names and seen them make comments in the chat. Like CASA would be nothing without our volunteers.
Yeah. And many, like you have seen, Reggie, so many of our volunteer advocates are also donors. They wear multiple hats. They never say no matter what the charge is. They are, they're the exact type of people that say yes to everything. So they're just completely in it for our children.
Oh, that is wonderful, and we appreciate that. We have Diane Green, who made a gift of $250. Thank you, Diane. We have Mary Sepeti. Thank you very much. We have Nick Cherry, and another anonymous gift, Kathleen Kleins, Mary Elise Quinn, who's an advocate volunteer. Teresa Waters, who's a longtime advocate, donated earlier and just donated another $75. Thank you so much. Deanne Green donated $250. We just saw her in the ADP video. Thank you very much,
thank you, Deanne.
Alana Espinosa, another anonymous donor, Kelly Wentz, and Tiffany Saharig. And let's take another look at our number where we are now. So 72,868. We so appreciate every gift that we have received so far tonight. Thank you so much for your generous support. I want to remind everybody, don't forget that the basket auction will continue until midnight Eastern time on Sunday. If you'd like to learn how you can become a CASA, please visit the Passaic County CASA website to learn more. You can become an angel in the lives of these kids. And we are going to add back in all of the additional sponsorship dollars that we have raised for this event, and kind of give you an idea of where we are as a total. And And then in just a moment, we're going to have a command performance coming up from Patty, but we're going to add in, it's an additional $50,000 from all of the sponsorships that we did. So we're at just under $123,000 raised so far. Please, everybody give yourselves a big round.
Amazing. I cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. It's more than I ever thought we could do in this type of a fundraiser. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you.
That is wonderful. Okay, well, keep those donations coming in. Thank you, Phyllis Stepien and Elizabeth Picotio. Pichotto. Thank you.
Liz is another volunteer.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. And now it is time for a command performance. Give it up one more time for Patty on the piano.
Thank you, Reggie. This one goes out to everyone tonight. Get to share one of my favorites, so I'm very excited about it. I hope you'll help me sing along. It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. Well, I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we all could live. A casa, you might say. If I was a sculptor. But then again, no, or a man who makes potions in a traveling show. Well, I know it's not much, but it's the best that I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for all of you. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is when you're in the world. So I sat on the roof and I kicked off the moss. Well, a few of the verses, they've got me quite cross, but the sun's been quite kind. While I wrote this song, it's for people like you that keep it turned on. So excuse me for getting with these things I drew. You see, I've forgotten if they're green or they're blue. Anyways, the thing is, what I really mean, yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is when you're in the world. All right, you know what's coming. Here we go. I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. Thank you so much, everybody. What a night, CASA. Thank you.
Patty, you are a champion, my friend. That is amazing, wonderful performances. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you who've contributed tonight. Janice Erzmonit, who donated again. Jay Bayersdorfer made a contribution. Let's take one last look at our fundraising total for this evening. $124,000 raised. Thank you all for your generosity. Thank you for your commitment to CASA. Thank you for your commitment to these kids. We appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful evening.